Marcus, I know obviously a tough loss for y'all, but I guess where did you kind of feel things turn? Was it that 15-0 run where OSU kind of went on that big offensive surge without Cade on the floor there?
I not that. I think it was when we had the 11-point lead. Then I got the offensive foul on the duck in, and then we came down. There was a loose ball with a whole bunch of contact, and then Clarence got the tech, and then after that, and then I got another offensive. I think it was just overall just me cracking, being the lead on the team, me cracking, and just everything started to crumble. And those wasted possessions, they just started to, OK State started to get points at that time. But nah, I think they all started with me just cracking.
Despite all those things, you guys were able to tie it, forced overtime. I guess where did you feel y'all maybe did not be successful in that sense to where you were able to maybe kind of turn the corner there in overtime?
Just not finishing at the end of overtime. I missed the layup, and then just missing shots. And then on the other side, they got aggressive and they got to the free throw line. I think they shot. I think 3 players in the overtime shot free throws, or maybe 4, maybe one of those. But they was aggressive and they got to the free throw line, and I don't think we shot a free throw at all at that overtime.
I know you used the word aggressive. Coach uses the word aggressive. Did you feel like you guys were aggressive in that second half? And I guess for you, just how frustrating was it for y'all not to be able to kind of obviously feel like you were playing aggressive and kind of getting to that free throw line like you guys are used to?
Yeah, we was aggressive. That's how we got on we had the 11-point lead, but I think once we started to crack and they started to score, they went on a 13-0 run, and they started to be aggressive. So we did show we was aggressive, but we needed to maintain it through the whole game.
I guess last one from me. Obviously, as you've said before, with the Kraken and stuff, what do you kind of learn from a game like this where it's a close one, as you've been in many in the Big 12, but where you crack, and I guess you certainly have some future games ahead of you all. I guess what do you take away from this game, and what can you learn?
Personally, me, focus on the game and not worry about the refs. When they're calling calls, just be like we say, being stone faced, and then just staying together and focus on every possession, get a stop, or at least get a stop, and on offense and get a good shot.
All right, guys, we'll be right back, Coach Beard. Appreciate it. Guys, if you're gonna have a question for Coach Beard, go ahead and raise your hand so I can see you. All right, man. Everyone. All right, guys, we'll go into questions. Let's start with Ben Golan.
Coach, did you ever get an explanation on the technical foul on Clarence? It looked like he got fouled a bunch of times, and then the ref rung him up pretty quickly there.
You guys understand the college rules, right? What I can say and what I can't say. Um,
Did you think that?
Here's the thing.
Uh,
I think I've earned the right to just tell you how I feel, right? It's a fair question. It was obviously a crazy possession of things happening. Guys were getting kind of thrown around everywhere. Like it looked like there could have literally been 3 or 4 fouls called. It's like a bunch of collisions. It's kind of a high intensity moment. He makes a call, no problem, To me, that's probably a time to maybe separate him and tell a player like, hey man, calm down. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I didn't like that technical foul. A lot of emotion out there, man. Look, these games are intense. These are Big 12 battles in late February. And these players are playing really hard. And they've made a lot of sacrifices this year, like we all have, including the officials, coaches, to carry our game all the way to Indianapolis, like during this COVID-19. So, there's emotions, there's intensity. I would just like sometimes for like common sense to prevail. So in that situation where I was sitting, and I could be wrong, but I'm usually not in terms of things that I know I see. I thought it was a hard playing play. To me, it was maybe a time where we could, that's my opinion of what happened.
And then overall for the game, I know you always talk about demanding the foul, but they shot 32 free throws and you shot 12, but especially in overtime, seemed like they were getting a call every time down. Just, did you think you guys demanded the foul tonight?
Again, understanding the rules here and the Big 12 and college basketball and all, I can just answer questions, right? 2 hard playing teams. One team gets 32 free throws. The other team gets 12. One team fouls 24 times, according to the stat sheet. And the other team fouls 13. Both teams are running a lot of high ball screen and kind of motion movement. Look, life in the Big 12, man, you never show up on these road games thinking that you're going to double somebody up on free throws. But what you ask your players to do is be aggressive, try to get to the free throw line, don't settle. I didn't think we settled much at all tonight. We tried to play the right way. We just have to do a better job demanding the foul. It's a bottom line business. It's a bottom line game. So, yeah, I would tell you, I know in overtime, I thought TJ made a really courageous, kind of strong drive to the basket. We just couldn't get the foul. I mean, guys, you'd have to check it. I think Oklahoma State fouled 3 times in the last 20 minutes of the game. That's amazing. That's a tough stat to swallow. But not taking anything away from them. Look, Mike's done a great job. He's got great staff. His team's playing through this COVID deal too. Isaac's out there playing wounded like TJ is for us. Burton couldn't play tonight. Tried today, just couldn't go. Look, this is Big 12 basketball in February. So Oklahoma State, they played well tonight. We've had 2 overtime battles with those guys. Just hasn't gone our way. But, they won the game tonight. And you guys know how I feel about respecting the game and the opponent. And they did a lot of great things. So hats off and to Oklahoma State and congratulate those guys. It's I think it's my 15th trip down here in Big 12 basketball. And, Mike does things the right way.
Let's go to Carlos.
Coach, with all that in mind, you guys had an 11-point lead. Did you feel like things kind of turned with that? Marcus kind of mentioned he felt like he had made some mistakes foul-wise, and maybe the team cracked a little bit, as he kind of mentioned. Did you feel like there was a change in momentum or just a change in mentality that kind of allowed the Cowboys to get on that big run that kind of turned things there?
Yeah, that's tough for us to say because we don't say this a lot about our teams because we have a culture that we embrace and we defend. And, we can't have player technical fouls in a 1-possession Big 12 road game in February. We can't have key players trying to have conversations with college officials. That doesn't work that way. The NBA is a different game. You can talk to those guys. I've coached in pro basketball. You can talk to those. You just can't talk to the officials in college basketball. I think during that Oklahoma State run, I was a little disappointed in some of our guys' demeanor and poise. So yeah, I would say it's definitely a game of runs. You know, we had a run to get up 11, and then they answered it pretty quickly. We can't give up that run. You know, maybe 13-5, maybe 6-0, 7-0. We got to find a way to get to the free throw line in those moments and make a couple free throws. We've already discussed tonight's challenges and that aspect of the game. And then defensively, but you got to get stopped, man. You got to figure out how to get a stop. And tonight, you know, that really was the run that kind of really determined the game in a lot of ways.
Last one from me. I asked Marcus this, but when you get your team in an adverse situation like today, where, as he had mentioned, he cracked or he felt like the team cracked, how do you learn from something like this going forward?
Well, I think the first thing about learning is you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to embrace the truth. You can't be, you know, living in a world of excuses. Like, I mean, to be really clear here, fellas, you guys asked me a couple questions about the free throw discrepancy and a tough technical foul and the officiating. And it's not, you know, that's not the reason we lost in overtime tonight to the #1 pick in Oklahoma State. That's not what happened. You know, it's a game of mistakes. Victory is going to favor the team that's more aggressive. Tonight, both teams were aggressive. You can't say Oklahoma State played harder than Texas Tech. I don't think you can say that. So then when both teams are playing aggressive, it becomes a game of the fewest mistakes. And, you know, we made some deep, you know, late. We had a couple fast breaks there at the end. We got to jump stop and get fouled. We got to figure out a way to get to the free throw line. I'm sure some of that was self-inflicted. You know, we can't turn the ball over. We can't get technical fouls. There's some things that you got to do. So tonight we played aggressive and hard enough to win, but we got to play better.
All right. Appreciate you guys.